go to something that I found incredibly interesting. And let's start out by checking their website. And guys, the name of this company is Roomettes. So it's Room, E-T-T-E-S. A long time ago, they were known as the electric wallpaper company. But the first time I saw this, I said, what? I just never thought of something so cool. So I'm going to head down to the directory. I'm going down to Roomettes, and I'm heading over, and Barry Silverthorne, guys, when I click on his website, the first thing you see is this really cool picture. Okay. And so what Barry does is building interiors, guys, and easy to build building interiors. But as we scroll through some of the pictures on the website, you go, whoa, interiors of libraries, of a fire department, of an ambulance facility, auto parts places. And the beauty of all of this, it's compatible with other lighting systems, and he sells it as a kit with the room plus the lighting and everything you need to have that room completely done. So this is really cool. And there is a video. So let's go to that video and let's see what's going on.
Welcome to Lighting Model Railroad Structures with Roomettes for the virtual Railroad Hobby Show. It's a bit disappointing that we can't be together in Springfield this year for the show, but hopefully through technology we can all come together and learn a few things and find out some things about some new products. I'm going to talk a little bit about Roomettes, which is a product that I've designed and manufacture, but I'll also give you some lighting tips along the way so you can take what you can use and leave behind what you can't use. First of all, what are Roomettes? Roomettes are a product that create the illusion of 3D in your model railroad structures. They're laser-cut cardstock with printed graphics. They have a precise fit for the structure they're intended to go into. They fold together with glued tabs and assemble with just a few tools. They also include LEDs that are compatible with Woodland Scenic's Just Plug system. And some of the kits include details and signs. So where did the idea for Roomettes come from? Well, several years ago, I was producing segments for Trainmasters TV, and we did a series called Start Small, Think Big, which was building a layout using the principles of TOMA, the one module approach. And one of the things we did on the layout was we included some lighting from Woodland Scenics. And what I found was, even though all the lights were on in the room, the lights on the layout really made the scenes pop. And I started to think about how I could use lighting on my own layout. I model a cloudy day, and so the lighting is very dim, very gray. And so I thought if I could include lighting in the structures, then I could really make things pop in that kind of dull, cloudy day scenario. So I started thinking about quickly how I could populate buildings on my layout without having to spend a lot of time doing interior details, and that's when the idea of Roomettes came by. So the system is totally compatible with Woodland Scenic's Just Plug. Why Just Plug? Well, one of the reasons is that it's really easy to get quick results. So here's a diagram of the Just Plug system. For those who've never used it or seen it before, it's based on the hub, which is the component with the red stripe on it. So the hub has an input for power, which you can see is powered generally by a wall wart, or it can be powered from your power supply, like an old power pack that delivers 12 to 24 volts. There are 4 outputs on the hub, and each one of those can be dialed from 0 to 100%, so you can dim all the lights. And there are a lot of accessories you can add to it. For example, there's an auxiliary switch that allows you to turn the hub on and off. There's an expansion hub, which is the hub with the blue stripe, which allows you to plug several red stripe hubs into it. And then there's the hub with the yellow stripe, which is a sequencing hub. And the difference between the sequencing hub and the regular hub is that it has a control that allows you to have the LEDs sequence randomly, and you can change the rate that they cycle. So you can have lights switching on and off in a building as if people are moving from room to room. And the small device with the green stripe is a port sharing device. And what that allows you to do is to split the output of one hub into 4. So the beauty of the system is that it's expandable and very modular, so it's very easy to grow it. And you don't need to have any soldering experience or any experience with electronics. You don't have to do any calculations as far as voltage. It's all done for you. It's plug and play. And here's an example of a street that's lit up with just plug lights in the buildings and some street lights, and they even have vehicles that have headlights and taillights. So what about lighting buildings? Well, Woodland Scenics has a product for that. It's light diffusing window film, which is just a translucent film that goes on the inside of the structure. It's a fast way to get some light into a building, but I don't think it really does the job of adding 3D detail to the building. Basically, it just diffuses the light. And to me, it kind of looks like a Thomas Kincaid painting where all the buildings are glowing mysteriously. It's kind of an eerie feeling, but again, it doesn't really give you that 3D effect. So here are some examples of Roomettes installed in some popular buildings. Here's a roomette as it comes out of the package. They're printed on cardstock. All the cutting is done for you by a laser, so there's no tedious cutting to do. All you need to do is to remove the tabs that hold it in the sheet. And sometimes you can almost do that by hand. So once it's out of the sheet, it's simply a matter of folding along the dotted lines to create a box. So what you want to do is bend a little bit past 90 degrees, but not too much, because you don't want to actually break the walls apart from each other. And then it's just a matter of adding a little bit of glue. And one of the glues that I find really works well is something called Gem Tack. Gem Tack is a very sticky glue that jewelry hobbyists use to add gems to their jewelry. It's very strong, but it's still a little bit flexible. It's got a really nice tackiness to it. So even while it's drying, the tackiness will hold things in place. So you don't have to worry about things slipping from where you put them. So I just put a little bit of glue on, and you can spread it around with your fingers. Some people will use a brush, and it doesn't take a lot. You really don't want to soak the cardboard. Once your glue is on, it's just simply a matter of folding the tabs underneath and just holding them until the stickiness takes hold. And you can even take something like a popsicle stick or the back of a set of tweezers, is what I'm using here, just to burnish it down, and that'll hold it until it dries. And then you want to do the same thing with the top and bring the top in. Now once you've created a box for your room, you want to bend any kind of tabs that are on the front of the box up. And these tabs will be what fastens the box to the wall. And it even tells you on the front, glue to the wall. Pretty simple. Once that's done, you want to take your knife and just cut out the ceiling, which is where your LED will go. And we'll get to the LED in a minute. One thing I'd like to talk about is windows. Gem Tack is really good for fastening acetate windows or styrene windows into your buildings. One of the nice things about putting a roomette in your building is if you've ever had buildings where the glass has fallen out after a couple of years because the glue dried out, once the roomette is in there, it actually pins the glass to the wall, and that glass will never fall out of your buildings. So now it's time to put the LED in the building. The LEDs are included with the kit, as well as the wire and the plug, and as I mentioned, they're compatible with Woodland Scenics. I like to tape them in. You can also use hot glue, but I find tape is easier. One thing I like to use is tuck tape, which is a tape that they use to put insulation on buildings. It's designed to last a long time, and after 36 hours it's pretty much cured and it's not coming off of your roomette. So I just cut a small piece like that, and what I'll do is just tape it on. Now one of the things you can do is you can add hot glue to the LED if you're worried that it might shift, in case the tape comes off, whatever. But you can do both. You can tape them and use hot glue to hold them in place. You can add details at this point if you want to add some figures. The bedrooms, a lot of them come with headboards, so if you take a piece of styrofoam and carve a shape for a bed, just a rectangle, You can make a bed pretty quick, throw some paint on it, and from outside, it just gives a little more 3D detail and makes things really pop. And here's an example of roomettes in a building. There's 8 rooms. This is the DPM townhouses, the townhouse flats. And you can see how everything's taped in together, and I've even wired them into a trunk at the bottom so they all go through the hole in the layout as one wire. Now, one of the things I recommend that people do is to cut the barbs off of the plug. The plugs that come with the LEDs are really designed to withstand a lot of vibration, maybe in automobile use or in planes. For our application, we really don't need them to be plugged in that permanently. And I find when you're trying to test things or move things around, you end up having to jiggle that plug a lot just to get it out. So if you cut those barbs off, the plug will go in nice, it'll still stay in, but it'll be really easy to pull out. And here are some more examples of finished models with roomettes inside. Now, for people who want to get started with roomettes and with the Just Plug system, I have project packages on my website that include the roomette, the building, the necessary Just Plug components to make everything light up, and a tube of gem tack for gluing everything together. So I can give you a sneak peek of some of the projects that I'm working on right now. These will be coming up probably in late February this year. One of them is the Walthers row house and the Walthers import motors. Also, I'm starting work on the Merchants Row series, so I'll probably have 3 different Merchants Rows coming in the spring. As well, I'll show you something that I've never done before that's new, and that is boxcar interiors. Now, I have done the artwork for these, but this one doesn't show it. But there's a boxcar interior that takes about 2 minutes to put together, and instantly you've got 3 dimensions to your boxcars. These will be made for Atlas 60-foot boxcars, and an old favorite, the Athearn 50-foot rail boxcar. Of course, the boxcar kits don't light up. Now, if you're interested in lighting structures, I have a Facebook page. It's called Model Railroad Interiors and Lighting. Now, it's not all roomettes projects there. There's lots of inspiration, lots of people doing lots of different things, so check it out, join, and contribute. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Go to my website, roometteslighting.com, if you want to see the kits, and hopefully we'll see you in 2022 in Springfield.